I want you to picture something frustrating. Imagine you're walking around with this massive treasure chest strapped to your back.
Yeah.
It's heavy, it's clunky, it's just weighing you down. And inside is everything you could possibly want: health, money, peace of mind, you name it.
But there's the catch.
There's the kicker. You don't have the key. In fact, half the time, you don't even realize you're carrying it. You're just struggling, sweating about your rent or your bad back, completely oblivious to the fact that you are sitting on a gold mine.
That is a very vivid and honestly a slightly tragic image.
Yeah.
But it's the exact image Dr. Joseph Murphy wants us to start with.
It makes me tired just thinking about it. We are diving into the power of your subconscious mind today. And look, I'll be honest, when I first picked this up, I thought, okay, another positive thinking book.
Sure. Smile and the world smiles with you.
Exactly. But Murphy is claiming something much more mechanical here, isn't he? He's not saying be happy. He's saying there's a literal treasure house inside us that we are failing to operate.
He's not talking about magic, no. Although the results can look like it. He's talking about software. Think of this deep dive as us, kind of reading the user manual for a piece of tech that everyone owns but nobody knows how to use.
And he says most people are, what was the word? Demagnetized?
Demagnetized, yeah. I mean, think about it. A magnetized piece of steel, it can lift 12 times its own weight. It's powerful. It sticks to things.
It has pull.
It has pull. But you demagnetize that same piece of steel, and it can't even lift a feather. Murphy says we are the same. The magnetized person is confident they know they're born to succeed. The demagnetized person sees a problem and thinks, oh, I might fail, or I can't afford that.
And they stay exactly where they are.
No magnetic pull.
So the mission today is to figure out how to remagnetize, to understand this law of belief. But before we get to the techniques, and we have some really specific ones for later, we have to look at the layout of the machine. One mind, two spheres.
Right? The conscious and the subconscious. And, to avoid getting bogged down in jargon, the best way to understand this is his analogy of the ship.
The captain and the crew.
Yes. Your conscious mind, the part of you that's listening to us right now, judging, analyzing it, that is the captain on the bridge. You're giving the orders.
Full steam ahead, turn starboard, that kind of thing.
Precisely. And the subconscious is
The guys down in the boiler room.
the crew in the engine room. Now, think about their job. Do they know where the ship is going?
No, they can't see outside. They're just staring at gauges and shoveling coal.
They don't look at the compass. They don't check the weather. They don't ask, hey, is that an iceberg? Their only job is to obey the orders coming from the bridge.
See, that's the part that freaks me out. Because you'd hope the crew would have some common sense. If I tell my subconscious I'm a failure, shouldn't it step in and say, no, you're having a bad day, chill out?
It cannot do that. That is the fundamental rule. The subconscious mind cannot take a joke. It's subjective. It doesn't reason. It doesn't argue. If you say, I can't afford this, the crew down below just says, aye, aye, Captain. Let's make sure we block any opportunities to make money so the captain is right.
It's maliciously compliant.
It's perfectly compliant. To use another analogy that might clarify this. The garden.
Right, you're the gardener.
You're the gardener, and you are planting seeds, your thoughts, all day long. The subconscious is the soil. Now, does the soil care about you?
No, soil is dirt. It just grows stuff.
It's totally neutral. If you plant corn, you get corn. If you plant poison ivy, the soil doesn't say, hey, this is going to make you itchy, let's not grow this. It grows the poison ivy with the exact same energy.
So if I'm walking around worrying, stressing, replaying arguments in my head,
You are meticulously watering poison ivy. You are sowing seeds of limitation. And the law of life, as he calls it, ensures you reap that harvest. The law of life is the law of belief.
it's not the thing you believe in.
It's the belief itself that triggers the result.
Okay, I want to push back on this a little bit. Or at least explore the dark side of it, because thoughts are things sounds nice when we're talking about success.
Yeah.
But Murphy includes a story that is, well, it's horrifying.
The right arm case.
Yes.
It is a very heavy example, but it perfectly illustrates the danger of imprecise orders.
Walk us through it, because when I read it, I had to stop and reread it.
So there was a man whose daughter was suffering from a terrible skin disease and arthritis. The father was desperate, and he kept saying to himself, to others, I would give my right arm to see my daughter cured.
Which is just a figure of speech. We all say that. I'd kill for a coffee. We don't mean it literally.
The conscious captain doesn't mean it literally. But the crew in the engine room, they don't understand metaphors. They just hear the order. Murphy reports that the family went for a drive. They got into a car accident.
Oh, no.
The father's right arm was torn off at the shoulder.
Wow.
And immediately following that accident, the daughter's arthritis and skin condition vanished.
So he's implying a direct causal link, that the subconscious executed the trade.
He presents it as a grim warning. The subconscious accepted the father's repetitive emotional suggestion as a command. Exchange right arm for daughter's health. The captain gave the order. The crew executed it.
That is terrifying. It makes you afraid to even speak.
It should make you precise, disciplined. You should never finish a negative statement. If you catch yourself saying, "I'll never get out of debt," you have to reverse it immediately because the crew is always listening.
But it's not just our own voice on the intercom, is it? We've got other people grabbing the microphone.
Heterosuggestion. This is huge. From the moment we were born, we're bombarded. You're going to catch a cold. You're not good at math. The economy is crashing.
You're too old to start over.
Exactly.
Mm.
And unless you actively reject those suggestions, your subconscious just accepts them as your own thoughts. He tells a story about a relative of his in India.
The fortune teller.
Right, a crystal gazer.
Yeah.
This seer looked into the ball and told the man he had a bad heart and that he would die at the next new moon.
And I'm guessing this relative was perfectly healthy before this.
Seemingly, yeah. But he believed the seer. He had complete faith. He went home, called his family, wrote his will.
Oh, he completely bought into it.
He curled up in fear.
Yeah.
And when the new moon came, he died.
He literally scared himself to death.
And Murphy is so clear on this. The crystal gazer had no power. The stones had no power. The prediction had no power. The only power was in the man's acceptance of it.
He agreed with it.
He let that fear drop down into the engine room and the crew just shut down the engines. It's a nocebo effect, a negative placebo.
Which is why you have to be the gatekeeper of your own mind.
You have to be. When someone tells you, you can't do that, you have to say to yourself, that is not true. If you don't reject it, you accept it.
Okay, so we need to be aggressive with this. And this brings up Caruso, the opera singer, because his story is the perfect example of how to yell back at the crew.
Enrico Caruso, one of the greatest tenors in history. But he had crippling stage fright.
Which is relatable. I mean, standing in front of thousands of people, I'd be sweating too.
He was backstage shaking. His throat was paralyzed. He was thinking, I can't sing. They'll laugh at me. That was his conscious mind. The fear. He called it the little me.
The little me.
But he knew he had a big me, the subconscious power that knew how to sing perfectly. So he stood up backstage and literally shouted, "Get out of here, the little me. The big me wants to sing through me."
He talked to his anxiety like it was another person.
He commanded it, "Get out." And because the captain finally grabbed the wheel and spoke with authority, the subconscious responded. His throat cleared, the tension vanished, and he went out and sang majestically.
The key there is authority. He wasn't begging, "Oh, please, I hope I don't mess up."
And that leads us to the biggest trap people fall into, the trap of trying hard.
The law of reversed effort. This is the part of the book that explains why willpower usually fails, which is so counterintuitive, isn't it?
It is. We're taught to just grit our teeth and force it.
Yeah.
And Murphy says that is exactly why you fail. Think of the plank analogy.
I love this one. It's so simple.
If I put a plank of wood on the floor and asked you to walk across it, could you do it?
Yeah, easy. No problem.
But if I took that same plank, suspended it 20 feet in the air between two walls, and asked you to walk it,
No chance. I'd freeze. I'd just be thinking about falling.
but the physical task is identical. The only difference is your imagination. On the floor, you imagine crossing. In the air, you imagine falling. And here's the rule. When your desire and your imagination are in conflict, your imagination always wins.
Wait, break that down. My desire is to walk across. My imagination is picturing the fall.
And the imagination is stronger. If you use willpower to try and walk that plank, what are you really doing? You are fighting the fear of falling. You're focusing on it. The harder you try not to fall, the more you confirm to your subconscious that falling is the likely outcome.
It's like when you have insomnia. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you get.
Exactly. Trying implies resistance. Trying implies there's a huge obstacle. So you're basically telling the crew, hey, there's a giant monster here we have to fight.
And they panic.
They panic. So the solution isn't to fight harder, it's to stop fighting. You have to reconcile the imagination and the desire. That's why he suggests the sleepy state.
Right, getting drowsy.
When you're sleepy, your conscious mind, the critical captain, is tired. He's stepping away from the wheel.
Right.
That's the moment to just drop the seed into the soil.
Yeah.
You don't force it, you just imagine the solution.
Let's look at the results of this, specifically with health, because Murphy is a big believer that the mind builds the body.
The watchmaker theory.
Yeah.
It's quite logical. Your subconscious took a single cell and built your entire body, your
Yeah.
heart, your eyes. It knows how to manufacture bone and tissue, so if it built the body, it knows how to repair it.
The doctor dresses the wound, but God heals it.
Right. And he provides some incredible historical examples. The most striking one for me is Dr. James Esdaile,
The guy in India, right, before modern medicine.
the 1840s in Bengal. This is before ether, before chloroform. Surgery was a horror show. People were strapped down screaming.
And Estai was during major surgeries.
Amputations, removal of massive tumors. But he didn't use straps, he used mental anesthesia. He'd put patients into a hypnotic state and suggest to their subconscious that they would feel no pain.
And it worked.
He performed over 400 operations. The mortality rate dropped to almost zero. Patients didn't feel the knife. They woke up without the trauma.
That is wild. It suggests that pain itself is partially a command from the bridge.
It suggests that the subconscious controls all vital functions. If you can convince the crew to turn off the pain switch, they turn it off.
There's another story that's less about surgery and more about the belief itself, the ring of the true cross.
Oh, yeah. A fascinating case of the placebo effect.
Hmm.
A young man's father was dying of tuberculosis, lungs failing. The son, desperate, picks up a random splinter of wood from the sidewalk,
Just any piece of wood.
puts it in a ring, and tells his father, this is a genuine piece of the true cross.
So he lied to his dying dad.
He sparked his father's faith. The father grabbed the ring, clutched it, prayed with absolute conviction, and went to sleep. By morning, his fever was broken. He made a full recovery.
But the wood was garbage, a splinter from the gutter.
The wood was irrelevant. The healing agent wasn't the relic. It was the father's imagination. His subconscious responded to his intense faith. It didn't matter that the object of the faith was fake.
Which really proves that the power isn't out there, it's in here. Okay, so that's health. Let's pivot to the other big one, money. Because I feel like people have a harder time with this.
We're conditioned to think money's a finite resource we have to fight for. And Murphy argues that money is just a symbol. It represents exchange. But the biggest block people have with wealth is envy.
Envy.
Think about it. You see someone driving a Ferrari and you say, look at that jerk, I bet he's a crook. What are you doing?
You're judging them.
You are condemning the wealth. You are telling your subconscious, wealth is bad. Wealth makes you a jerk. And the crew says, okay, Captain, we definitely don't want to be jerks, so we will make sure you never get rich.
Wow. So by hating the rich, you lock yourself into poverty?
You cannot attract what you condemn. It's a psychological impossibility. You have to bless the success of others to open the door for yourself.
Okay, but how do we program for wealth? Because he warns against lying. If I'm broke and I sit here saying I'm a millionaire, my conscious mind is going to scream, no, you're not.
And that creates conflict. The plank, remember?
Yeah.
In a conflict, the negative wins. So Murphy suggests a technique to bypass that, the wealth lullaby.
How does that work?
You don't make a full sentence. You just enter that sleepy state and repeat a single word. Wealth or success.
Just the word.
Just the word. It's abstract. Your conscious mind can't argue with wealth. It's just a concept. But as you repeat it, you saturate your mind with the feeling of it. The subconscious acts like a bank. It pays compound interest on whatever you deposit.
Deposit the feeling of wealth, it manifests the reality of it. Okay, I want to get into the specific toolkit now. Let's make this super practical for the listener. The Baudouin technique.
Charles Baudouin, a professor in France, his technique was about condensation. Condense your desire into a short phrase, a slogan.
Like a jingle.
Exactly. There was a woman in a complex lawsuit, a total mess. She was stressed, so she condensed her desire into 6 words. It is finished in divine order.
It is finished in divine order.
She repeated it like a lullaby, didn't worry about the how, and within a few weeks, the suit was settled out of court. The subconscious found the path.
Then there's the thank you technique. I like this one.
This is for the person who wants to signal trust. Murphy tells the story of Mr. Broke. He was destitute. He started repeating, "Thank you, Father, for my wealth."
But he didn't have the wealth yet.
That's the point. If I promise to give you a ride, you say thank you before we get in the car. The thank you is the proof of faith. Mr. Broke repeated this until the mood of gratitude became real to him. Shortly after, he got a new job.
It changes the vibration. You can't be grateful and fearful at the same time.
You are choosing the frequency.
And what about the mental movie? This was for selling property, right?
Yes. If you want to sell a house, don't focus on the for sale sign. Construct a mental movie. Visualize the check in your hand. Feel the paper. See yourself shaking hands with the buyer.
You live the end scene.
Make it real in the imagination first. The subconscious will then find the buyer.
And finally, the passing over technique. This one sounds the most peaceful.
It is. It's for when you've done all you can. Consciously, you just say to your subconscious, I am turning this over to you now. It's like handing a heavy package to a strong porter. You don't carry the weight anymore.
We've covered a lot of ground here. Captains, crews, planks, poison ivy. But if you had to boil this down, what's the one big takeaway?
The takeaway is that you are the architect. The subconscious is the builder. It's the crew, the soil, the engine. But you draw the blueprints. And you draw them with your habitual thinking. You are writing your own book of life every single hour of the day.
That's empowering, but also a massive responsibility.
It means you are in control. And I'd leave the listener with this thought. Murphy talks about the infinite intelligence within. This part of you knows how to heal a cut, how to digest your food. It functions lifeward. It wants you to be healthy and happy.
So the only thing stopping it is us.
The only thing stopping it is the captain screaming, "We're gonna crash." If you just stop interfering, if you stop doubting, and let the wisdom of the subconscious flow, you might be amazed at what happens.
I love that. Stop interfering. So here's our challenge to you listening right now. Tonight, when you're drifting off, don't replay the stress of the day. Try it. Pick one technique. Do the wealth lullaby. Or just say thank you. Try it for a week and see if the ship changes course. Thanks for diving deep with us.
It's been a pleasure.